Alright, hi guys, this video is going to be entitled Understanding the E-Train, and it's a video about, basically mastering train on T side and CT side as an in-game leader, and like what you want to be doing, what your default is going to be, what your pistol strats should look like, and yeah, just how to play the map basically. I usually go in these videos really in depth, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on this one. I'll be talking about the contested parts of the maps where you need to put pressure on T side and CT side. So yeah, we'll just hop in the server right now. I want to make sure that alright, so this is not great. This is much better. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. So now the image is looking great. So okay, I'll be going over T side now. I'm gonna start off with a couple of pistol strats ideas. There are a lot of things you can do on pistol strats, on pistol rounds, and to me, I like if you've watched any of my other videos, I like to keep it real simple. A couple of nades, straight execute. I'm not running defaults on pistol rounds. I might run I'll always have some guy watching the flying, but I'll usually run and execute really early. It's gonna be the same thing on this map. So what I'll be doing on this map, I mean, I can do multiple things, but the 3 IV with 1 guy T-con, 1 guy ladder is a pretty good strat. 3 people with nades. You want to make sure to not get aggressed on IV, so you want to play that early IV presence well, so you want to be able to dodge flashes, because it's a common play from the CT side on pistol round to push IV with the flash. You want to make sure that you're able to defend against that. And once you've taken IV control, then whether they smoke you out or not, you want to wait out the smokes. Then you want to execute outside with IV, so your 2 Kevlar players are going to go IV alongside someone with nades, and execute like this wouldn't be too bad. So 3 smokes, 3 smokes, couple of flashes. So you obviously want to ball flash right here. Then you want your T-con player to, after he smoked, he can flash for himself close up to make sure nobody's playing right here. He's gonna flash hell for you guys. So your 2 entry fraggers with that flash are gonna clear hell. Alright, I didn't even clear this angle, God, I'm bad. So you want them to clear hell. Then they're the ones making contact and trading kills, right? So you never want your ladder player to get out early, because he's fighting by himself. He like these angles right here, he's gonna be fighting by himself if he goes early. Same thing with this guy. You don't want this guy to go too early, so that he's fighting the guy sandwich before his teammates can actually trade, or he's fighting the guy close up before his teammates can actually trade. So they're the ones making contact, and you're basically basing your execution off of them, right? Everything is for them. You've thrown 3 smokes for these 2 guys with Kevlar. You've thrown a bunch of flashes for them. So yeah, you want your 3 entry fraggers. All these flashes come here. They're gonna clear sandwich, and at this point, this guy can get out. This guy's gonna get out as well. Then you all just want to attack side, clear middle of the side, plant the bomb, and go play post plant positions, while the 3rd guy at IV is the one looking at the flank behind the smoke and the run through. So yeah, that's a decent pistol strat. Something else you can do, enter takes are it's pretty straightforward on this map. With 3 smokes, a good enter take. I'll be going enter takes later in the video, but I would smoke Z. I would smoke sidewalk. I would smoke here. Then I would have people flashing up close. And then flashing deep, and flashing deep again for these guys to wrap in sight, clear back side, clear these angles, and I would plant the bomb. That's what I would do on a pistol. Thinking about something else. If I were to go inner, that's about it. That's 2 simple strats that you can run. I like to run like double fakes and stuff, showing bomb in one side and then just double faking it. Stuff like that. Plant strats are okay on pistols. Like, you can always smoke sandwich. You're gonna smoke here. You're gonna smoke right here. you never want to use for smoke. For like, you always want to make sure you at least have 2 people with Kevlar, with Glocks, because I mean, Glocks are just fucking, they're way too good close range for them not to have Kevlar. If they don't have Kevlar, they're just gonna get fucking aim punch close range against USPs or P2Ks. They're gonna get destroyed. So you never want to see that happening. Always have your entry fraggers with Kevlars. Okay, you can do a plan strat on a pistol. I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do on pistol, but basically my 2 first strats usually would be the ones I'd run. Okay, so now onto default. In my opinion, the better way of playing default on this map is to have a lot of IV pressure. So what I would do an early 2-on-2 that would develop into a 1-1-3. So I would take Brown Hall's control. I'm gonna go over how to take Brown Hall's effectively, because it's pretty fucking straightforward. So you want to smoke molly deep. Then the second guy's gonna pop flash close up right here. Then you want the 2 guys to come wide with the flash. Clear close up out upper. Alright, then upper is clear. Then you're gonna leave 1 guy here holding for the bushes, and the other guy's gonna leave and go back T-con. And a T-con player is gonna go IV. Now you have 2 riflers in your opper, or 3 riflers, depending on whether you have an op or not. At IV, now once you're at IV, you're basically looking for an aggressive IV take. So off of that, before talking about IV control and stuff, you always want to know how the CTs play, how the CTs are playing in a certain round, right? So the common ways, Brown Hall's control, the reason it's really good is because when terrorists have it and you've denied the information, right? So this guy, if he's shoulder peeking right here, he's gonna get blind, he's gonna fall back. He doesn't have any information anymore. Or this guy early got mollied, then he got either flash or double peeked or whatever the case may be. He just fell back. When the CTs don't have control of Brown Halls and they don't know how many people could be there, they're always gonna send their rotator to Z to watch upper, because if this guy's playing by himself, he can't watch both. Spots effectively. So at any point in the round, if they know that they could be walk pushing inner, they want to have a second guy to watch it. So that's why exerting pressure in inner is really useful, is to kind of attract the rotator to and dedicate him to playing inner, because once you've put the defense into a 3-2, that's when you can stretch them even further with your IV pressure, right? So it's a concept that most NA teams don't understand. The concept I'm going to explain right now is that you cannot play aggressive outside with 3 players. That is not doable. If you play aggressive outside with 3 players, that means your IV player is going to be by himself. And if he's by himself, you can't hold IV by yourself. So right there's a problem. And if he gives up IV, because obviously he's by himself and he's got to play passive, like he gets flashed out or smoked out, then your 2 aggressive players right here are fucked. They've got no cover other than Z, but Z is easily smoked off, and that guy's always going to be late to rotate because he's dedicated to playing inner. He's dedicated to being here and watching this. He's going to rotate back and forth on off of the information that his teammates are giving him, but he's never going to be out here. If you have Brown Hall's control and you keep putting pressure in inner, right? You keep doing some stuff. Like this guy is still here. He's still peeking upper. He can throw a flash late or whatever he wants to do to make sure that to pull this guy back into his place and to make sure that he doesn't just gamble and stay outside. Sometimes it's gonna happen. Sometimes the operator is gonna take some risks. He's gonna go outside. These things you can't really deal with. But anyway, so yeah, basically my point was that CTs can't play aggressive outside, and I'm talking here post smokes, right? Obviously, you can play aggressive outside with 3 players as long as you have smokes up, because all of these choke points are holdable by yourself if you have smokes. At the same time, you can either CTs can either smoke this at the beginning of the round, then smoke this. Then they can, or they can just smoke one of the 2 and then keep it smoked. So like smoke it 2 or 3 times. They can do that kind of stuff. So if they do that, then you gotta wait. You just gotta wait out the smokes basically. And since the rounds last what, a minute 50 now, they won't be able to keep one of the spots smoked out for the majority of the round. So it's not really, it shouldn't be bothering you. So basically, what you want to be doing is waiting out the smokes with your 3 players Ivy, who are just basically looking for a pick at this point. Your opera is going to post on someone. You can boost up here if you want with your rifler, and then have your second rifler holding the same exact angle. You can do that kind of stuff to look for a pick. And once you've gathered enough information that where you know when you know once you've gotten enough information, when you know dude, shut the fuck up. When you know how the CTs are playing, so whether they're playing passive or aggressive, then you can make your call, right? So if you know that the CTs are playing aggressive, that means that they've kept everything smoked. And Ivy is not smoked. Basically, they only threw 1 smoke at Ivy. That means that they're basically playing really passive Ivy. Or they have an opera there. So when you only see 1 smoke Ivy, that's when you actually want to pressure it really early to make sure that to push that guy back into a spot where he can't really hold it anymore by himself, or to deny him the information and push him back to a spot where he can just get smoked out and not have any influence on the rest of the round. So yeah. So basically, that's how your default's gonna unfold. You're gonna take brown house control, send someone back. The TCON player is gonna go back towards Ivy. Then with the 3 players Ivy, you're gonna take Ivy control. So executes that you can run with Ivy control, right? You don't. I mean, I'm not saying every single round you should go Ivy and then do an execute in A, right? Because it's gonna be really predictable. After the second or the third time you're gonna do it, they're just gonna stack 4A every single time and leave the B guy alone. You want to make sure that you can change it up. You can take Ivy control. You can push back. You can push back the opera with flashes or the rifler. You can smoke him out, and then just either everybody falls back and walks back towards TCON. Then you do a plant strat or something. Like, you want to be able to mix it up. It's not because you take Ivy control that every single time you're going to use that Ivy control into a strat. But I mean, so most of the time it's going to work if you have a decent execute, right? The execute I talked about on pistol, where you smoke backside, you smoke this for the guy ladder, you smoke on the right side here. You can add a 4th smoke now that it's a gun round. You can always smoke this. Then now you have mollies, right? So you flash your way into Ivy, everything before all the smokes. Before you put all the smokes up, you want to molly before you smoke to get the maximum out of your smoke time. So you can molly this. Then you're gonna call it timing for smokes. And right before you smoke, you're gonna molly, then pop flash again. Then hold the guy with the molly. You know, hold that angle right here. Then have someone pop flash backside for you guys to get out here and then clear hell. And same thing as pistol. So that's exactly what you want to do. That's a good Ivy take, outside take with Ivy control. The importance of Ivy is that when you assert a lot of pressure and when you assert dominance in Ivy, it makes the CTs play really passive everywhere. Because if they can't hold on to Ivy, they got to play passive Ivy. Like I set up a passive setup at Ivy whenever CTs need to play passive Ivy, that means they need to send 2 people towards Ivy, right? They need to either they're gonna have someone towards hell and someone backside looking at Ivy actively. They're gonna have someone backside, back lanes with someone close up, like things like that. So whenever you push the CTs back to where they need to play passive outside, that's when you can really utilize that that map pressure, that map control to execute on however you want to execute outside. It's going to give you a lot more leeway into your outside takes. Did I talk about? Okay, so that's why I think Ivy's a pivotal point of the map. It's kind of like, what would I compare it to? It's kind of, technically, it's kind of like Banana. on Inferno, in the way that if the CTs are playing aggressive banana and they have knowledge of whether you are in banana or not, they're only going to leave. They're usually going to leave one guy down in banana to look for early information, and then once he sees people, just going to fall back. And then they're going to have the four players at A, right? That's kind of similar. If you don't ever take IV control, then they're only going to have one guy dedicated to watch it, and then that's when they can actually and actually he's not even going to be dedicated. He's going to look there every now and then, and that's when you can that's when the CTs can really focus on playing close up outside with multiple smokes, because that guy's never going to use a smoke because he never spots anybody. So yeah, IV control allow you to spread out the defense and really really use more than one execute basically. Okay, talked about that. Executes that you can run outside without IV control, right? You can if you're looking for picks, there are plant strats and non-plant strats. That to me is a pretty good take. Actually, I probably wouldn't even smoke back lanes. What I would do if I were to do a strat like this is I would smoke like this, and then smoke IV. So I would isolate people in no man's land. And how? So on a strat like this, your goal is to throw these smokes, throw I don't know how to molly fucking sandwich. You can probably molly it off of here. I know that people like there's a way to do it off of there. Who gives a shit, dude? Yeah, just a quick reminder. I'm not making videos to show you how to throw nades. Throwing nades is fairly easy. Get into a server and you'll figure out all these nades, or just watch a YouTube video. I'm not looking to help out with nades. I'm looking to help out with strategies and executions and stuff. Figuring out the nades kind of like, I mean, it's the simple part. The hardest part is understanding why those nades are useful. So yeah, you want to smoke like I did, you know, back of IV, back site, around the site to allow that guy to get out. You can molly in sight, yeah, right, molly right in front of sight. Then you can molly sandwich or not molly it. Then you're gonna toss a couple of pop flashes, send your two entry fraggers yet again. They're gonna be coming up here, clearing all these angles, and then they're gonna wrap in sight. And you know, once they're in hell, that's when everybody else gets out, and you know, watches the push through smokes, and someone else gonna push up. Maybe someone wants to jump on a train. You're looking for straight kills basically. Okay. The key on this map when you execute is to have is to know what your job is. Like every single player on your team should know what his job is. The two entry fraggers' job are to clear a sandwich, hell, backside. Actually, not even backside. Their first job is to clear sandwich and hell, and then together with the guy ladder, or the two guys ladder, and this guy right here, and I mean the fifth, basically the fifth person of the team, they want to clear backside, the middle of the side, whether you've mollied it or not, and then you want to plant the bomb. Basically, you're looking for kills. When you're smoking really deep, you're looking for kills. When you're doing a plant strat, you're not looking for kills. The ways to beat a plant strat as a CT is to play in front of the smokes. Is to play either in front of the smokes or have an early flank. So play aggressive at the extremities. That's the way to beat a plant strat. As CTs, the way to beat like a kind of an isolation execution, where you like one of the spots actually gets isolated, a spot that wouldn't be isolated on the plant strat, like hell, or like no man's land, basically right here. The way to counter that is to either play super passive, give up bomb site, and then give up great positioning post plant, or try to play your normal positions and get out traded. That's why myself I favor. It's gonna depend on how the rounds has been played and whether I know they have an AWP or not, and how much utility they have. Usually, if teams don't have that much utility, they don't have an AWP, plant strats are a thing that I'll use, because I know that in a 5v5, when they have low utility and no AWP, we'll usually win that as terrorists. Whereas if they have a lot of utility and an AWPer who can just shut down one angle, then that's when they have the upper hand in the retake. So plant strats are good against low utility teams. Yeah, and like straight up executes are good against. I mean, they're good against anything, but that's just to make a point, basically. I mean, executes are good against passive setups. Basically, yeah, passive setups. Kind of how on Mirage, when you smoke stairs, connector, and CT spawn, that to me is more of a plant strat. Because almost every single team on Mirage, I mean, nowadays it's a little bit different, but a lot of teams on Mirage tend to play super passive at A because they want to like keep connector control and make sure that they don't get split up on the A side. So like you can just plant the bomb and go play safe. And whereas the other execution is where you take connector control and plan for connector, and so basically getting yourselves into good post plant positions by having connector control, right? On this map, an execution, a deep execution like I showed, where you smoke backside, back Ivy and stuff like that. It gives you HAL control, and HAL control is a great position to have in a post plant position and in post plant situation. Same for front of site, right? Whenever you're playing post plant situations, you're really playing far back, super passive, and kind of predictable and easy to isolate angles, right? Okay. Default, I talked about Ivy pressure. Now, you don't have to take Ivy control every single round. You can just watch it from afar. It'd be good to switch it up, because like the first couple of times you take Ivy control, like they're gonna start to adapt, and like they're gonna start playing passive. And when CTs are playing super passive, that means they have 2 players in Ivy. Like it's usually harder to take Ivy by then. You can still do it, but like I said, you're gonna face a lot more problems, and that's when you've pushed the CTs to passive setups, that's when a full-blown executes like I shown is really good, because it's gonna isolate one of the guys playing Ivy. It's gonna isolate the guy playing backside passively. It's gonna isolate these guys and allow you to get the one kill that's really useful, the one guy that's always playing aggressive in hell. So that's when you want to do those types of executes, when you know that the CTs are actually playing passively. They're playing more towards Ivy. That's when I would usually tell you contesting Ivy isn't actually a good idea. You can just play it passive now. Okay. Now I want to go over towards the inner side. I'm gonna start by I've explained myself on the subject of Brown Hall's control and how important it is and how easy it is to take. Combined with how important it is, some spots like banana on Inferno are fairly hard to take as T sides if the CTs like to contest it and use a shit ton of utility. You usually have to wait out a couple of smokes before you can actually take it. Brown Halls is a spot where there are no smokes for CTs to use effectively, where they can just play behind them, right? So some people are going to smoke right here, but they can't get behind the smoke fast enough for you guys to not always already have crossed and be able to trade the guy upper, right? All of these plays that the CTs, there are basically no plays that CTs can make, in my opinion, that can't really be counterable. Like if you, like I said, Molly, quick pop flash right here, 2 people that cross real fast. There's no counterplay to that. If you're facing that as a CT, you kind of gotta give it up. You gotta give up early upper control. Like the things you could do is obviously you can always pop flash after the molly's dissipated, but it comes down to whether terrorists know how to play together, right? Once you've mollied, it's still important that you clear these close angles. And yeah, so that's it. Okay, Brown Hall's control. Then, alright, now I want to talk about the inner side. The inner side is kind of like A side on Mirage. It's kind of like a B side on Inferno. It's actually not really B side in front. Nah, it's I would probably compare it to A side Mirage. My point being that it's easily retakeable for CTs, like A side cash actually, where like if you don't play aggressive for like if you don't play aggressive on inner on B site, which is what we call inner. If you don't play aggressive after you've taken the initial parts of the site, meaning you've cleared that this is clear, this is clear, there are nobody inside, nobody's right there. If you're not pushing further in, or if your execution doesn't allow you to push further in, and you don't find any kills, early kills, so like it's 5v5 or 4v4 or 3v3, depending on how the rounds unfolded before you went inner, you're most likely gonna lose the round against a retake because when CTs have utility. In a 3v3 or in a 4v4 or in a 5v5, and you haven't pushed them out, but you haven't pushed really deep, so your positioning is so obvious and fairly easy to play against. And like the only way you win these post plant situations is if you have one of your players go nuts and hit a couple of headshots, or your opper hits a shot he shouldn't have, meaning like, I don't know, say he's holding right here, nobody's peeking, then he's got to make a play because he can't just hold this. Like so he's either gonna play a peek here and up here, and then hit a shot right there where he shouldn't have because like the guy was actually holding the angle and he whiffed or whatever, or he peeks back sight and then the rifler misses a shot, or a rifler is too exposed, or the opposite the opposite opper misses, or whatever the case may be. It's dependent on individual playmaking if you're playing passive in a post plant situation. That's why I usually like to push aggressively. I like to deny the initial retake and to make sure that alright, they've got to fight us before actually getting into sight, because if they don't, if we all play super passive, we all wait for them to get behind the sights, then we're gonna get mollied out, smoked out, traded, because they all have superior positioning when they're peeking these angles on top of these strains. This guy can smoke upper and peek these angles alongside one of his teammates who's going to come from the same exact angles. They're just going to trade the kills. So you never want to put yourselves into these positions as terrorists. What you want to do is have decent executes, right? Good executes on gun rounds. You always want to smoke sidewalk because you want to deny that strong position from the CT, right? You can always smoke this. Actually, I would smoke this. Depending on how many smokes I have. These are the 3 smokes that are really useful. If you have a 4th one, you can smoke this as well. It's not as important, but you can do it. And then you want I mean, everybody's gonna storm through, so you want 2 riflers to clear up side and then 2 riflers to go up sidewalk. And the way you want to do this, you throw your smokes, ball flashes, blah blah blah. If you want to molly in the middle of the side, whatever, you can do that kind of stuff. But then once you're all out, everybody's out, you want to ball flash the smoke. And then get out, or have someone from right there ball flash back lanes and get out to clear these angles. The guy backside, the guy close right here, someone on the train out of position, someone right here out of position, and you want to push further, right? So and once you've taken all of this is when it's actually you're now in good positions, post line positions to fight the CTs, because they've got to clear a lot of angles before actually right, your smokes are still up by then, right? So you still have about 10 seconds for your smokes. Whoever's watching flank's got information. After the smokes disappear, he's gonna know whether someone's gonna be flanking or not. Usually people are not gonna late flank inner, meaning like they're not gonna fake while there's like 15 seconds on the bomb left. So and inner flanks are usually either right off the bat or like 5 or 10 seconds after you've planted. So that's when the guy watching flank can actually stop watching flank and come help you and fight all of these, and you're all fighting close range battles with AKs, with kind of what I would call superior positioning. This guy watching on his left, this guy watching right here. Everybody can trade kills. As soon as someone starts shooting, then someone else gonna pick the same exact angle from a covered area, right? This guy right here starts shooting. All right, I'm gonna peek wide. I'm gonna kill this guy with him. You can have someone lurk here. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about inner. So, and at the same time, if you do get the initial peek, the initial pick, right? Like if your players who've pushed in sight have have killed the guy, right? So usually what's gonna happen is that these two riflers are gonna swing wide with these guys, and then as these guys flash the smoke, this is the cue for one of the non-planner to push wide as well, depending on whether there's a smoke here. If there's no smoke, then these guys are not gonna peek this. If there is a smoke, then these guys are gonna swing wide and help them clear these spots. Then you're gonna plant the bomb. So if you get an early pick and it's 5v4, then you can play passive. Or you can keep up the pressure. If you're a coordinated team who can trade kills, I would recommend keeping up the pressure, because in my opinion, even a 4v5 as T's is still retakeable. It's like it favors the T's a little bit, but just slightly if you're playing passive. Whereas if you're playing aggressive, if you can all trade kills properly, you should easily win. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. So your first default on almost every single round is usually you usually want to test out the waters. You want to test the waters out. Who gives a shit? So you want to know how they play macro wise, right? So how their rotations are being played, how every single player how they like to play outside, whether they like to play aggressive like I said earlier, or they like to play passive and put more people towards put more emphasis towards IV. How does the inner player play? How does the rotator play? You want to get a little bit of information on every single player. So once you've taken inner control on the first gun round or second gun round, depending on how the first round unfolded, or if the city's economy is low, I guess, you want to throw a first smoke right here, right? And then you want to know how you want to notice how he reacts. Meaning, does he counter smoke you right away? Does he molly you? Usually, if people don't counter smoke, or they don't counter molly, like molly right off the bat, it means that they're playing two dedicated inner. So either this guy is up here, or they're playing actually two rifles inside. The reason I'm saying this is because if he's comfortable enough to play right here, his teammates got full control on upper. This isn't full control on upper. This is, hey, I'm gonna get smoked out and I can't help you, right? So that's not, and he can, like, basically, the thing is, if he plays here and then his teammate is here, and I don't know, for some reason he falls back or he gets flashed or he gets smoked out, it's too late for this guy to smoke. Because by that point, if the terrorists have decent execution, or they just have balls, they'll just, like I said, use that smoke, ball flash, and get out. And then this guy's caught out of position, right? So that's when you know, basically, back to my point, you want to know how the guy likes to play, and it tells you a lot about their setups. Like I said, if he's not counter smoking right away, it means he's actually playing in front of the smoke, or he's playing passive. He's playing like right here, and if he's playing right here, back to my point. This board right here is either on these trains, or he's up here, or they're playing two rifles inside. Because if this guy's just playing Z, once he gets smoked out, or he gets flashed out, or he misses a shot, then this guy can't hold off two angles at the same time. So usually good players, I mean good inner players, that's how they're gonna play. They're either gonna play in front of the smoke because they have someone dedicated with them, or they're gonna play passive because they have someone like a passive angle, but it's kind of somewhat of an aggressive angle because you're not giving them the side, basically. Or they're gonna play any of these angles aggressively without smoking. But yeah, so basically you want to know how he plays. If he counter smokes you or counter mollies, that means he's scared. He can't hold it without it. If he can't hold it, he doesn't have good enough support, right? So the guy's playing, he's probably just playing Z. So that's going to tell you a lot about their setup. It's also going to give you a lot of information for like the next gun round. Like the first time you smoked inner, he didn't counter smoke you, he didn't molly you. The second time, go inner with 5 people and 1 smoke, and destroy this guy, or destroy the setup. 5v2 is still favorable for you guys. Or go in there with 2 smokes, and see what happens. Or go in there with a full execution, 4 smokes, right away really fast, right? So you throw your first initial smoke, then everybody else throw their smokes, and as soon as everybody's smoke gets out, since like all of these smokes right here are not important to your initial drop, you can actually throw them later. So you're gonna throw a smoke. That'd be a good, like, that'd be something you'd see Fallen do, really, or Existence, really good game leaders do. That's how you adapt. So you're gonna throw this. You know he doesn't throw anything to counter you, and then you're gonna throw all the other smokes. Then you're gonna pop flash, and then the first two guys are really gonna just storm through and see if he's playing right up here and he gets blinded and whatever. They're gonna see if they can get an entry kill, and then by that time all the other smokes are gonna be up, and you're basically just gonna do the execute that you should be doing usually on inner. So yeah, early inner aggression and the first couple of defaults is always useful. It gives you a lot of information on what the CT setup is, and yeah. So I think I'm done about inner. I think I've said my piece. I'm gonna see how long have I talked for. 36 minutes, not that bad. We're gonna go over the CT side now. Oh fuck no. When you're a man up, I forgot. That was something else I wanted to mention on almost every single of my other videos, but I didn't, I think. So how to play when the CTs are down a guy. So whether it's 5v5, 4v4, 5v5, 5v, I meant 5v4 or 4v4. How to play the T side. In almost every single map, when you have map control and it's 5v4 or 4v4, you want to make them stretch even further than they are. So right. So an example on this map is if the CTs are down a guy. So it's a 4v4 or 5v4, like I said. They're gonna either play 2-2, or they're gonna play. I mean, actually, they're usually gonna play 2-2, or they're gonna take a gamble at A. So the way they're gonna play 2-2 is that guy's just gonna be rotating back and forth. So he's gonna be really fast to rotate it when you take outside, which it's basically back to a 3v1, or he's gonna play dedicated inner, because I don't know, because they're playing passive outside actually. If he plays dedicated inner, that means they're playing super passive outside. They're just playing a retake on outside. Or like, you know, they can take a gamble. Like they're gonna play dedicated outside, so nobody's in Z. Everybody's quite pushed out. So maybe you got two people pushed up here, and then the third guy's gonna come here to cover their Ivy. So yeah, whenever the terrorist, the CTs are down a guy, it's important for you guys to, whatever side you want to hit, throw something else. Throw something at the opposite side. So say you want to do an outside take, you got Ivy control. When you're up a guy, I would usually recommend actually not going Ivy, because the likeliness of them playing aggressive while they're down a guy outside is not likely. Like I said, if they play the map without taking gambles, then they're going to play passive. So that meaning they're going to play back lanes. The operator's going to play back here or back side with a rifle, Hal, or close Ivy, and then they're going to give up a ladder and the T-con control. So yeah. So that's usually what's going to happen. And at that point, you don't actually want to face the two people Ivy. It's something you almost never want to do. So you don't want to face those two guys. So it's either you do some kind of a plant strat, and then since you're already up a guy or it's 4v4, you can plant the bomb and have someone flank something later. Whenever the CTs are down a guy, that means that they're lacking one guy to watch flank or one guy to trade effectively with. So it's always plant strats are effective when you're up a man. But yeah, basically you want to play with the rotator, right? So whether this guy takes a gamble or not, you want to make him hesitate between sides. So if you want to end up going outside and do, I don't know, a plant strat outside or a deep execute outside, you want to make sure that you throw a smoke inner. You throw a smoke and a flash inner. That way he has to commit to inner for a half a second. Usually what's gonna happen is he's gonna be over rotating. So I don't know, he sees a smoke and a flash. Then he's gonna wait out about 2-3 seconds. Then if his teammate, whoever's playing side, however he's playing it, you know, whether it's here or in the middle of the site or backside really passively. If that guy doesn't see anybody crossing or doesn't hear anybody crossing, then this guy's just gonna rotate back off. He's gonna go back to outside and position himself. But that kind of that 2 seconds window is really useful when you're up a guy or when it's 4v4, because it allows you guys to get into great positions while that guy can actually cut you off. So yeah. When you're up a guy that's throwing fakes is usually really good. Double fakes is usually very good as well. If you throw one smoke here, then 2 smokes outside, you're gonna see full rotations. But usually, that's how you play. That's how you out shot call these people. By these people, I mean any other team, by playing with their kind of their emotions and their willingness to take a gamble. Because whenever the CTs are, like I said, are down a guy, they're gonna be willing to take a gamble. I mean, we might as well just stack outside now. He smoked inner, nobody's inner, because that's a gamble, right? If you've smoked inner and you flashed and he hasn't seen anybody for 2 seconds, him going back outside is a gamble. You could still be behind the smoke. You could be anywhere close inner. He just doesn't know, because his players usually not going to play aggressive anyway. So they don't actually have information on whether you're hitting inner or not. He's just taking the gamble of, nah, I'm pretty sure that's just a fake. Let me just go back, right? And once you know. And I mean, my point was, it's really easy to play with these types of gambles and actually make them gamble once, and at the second time they're gonna be like, usually what's gonna happen. And I haven't played against European teams, and I'm assuming this probably won't work against the best teams in the world, but and it's 100% gonna work every single fucking time. So you're gonna throw one smoke outside. Two or three smokes. I mean, one smoke inner, one flash. 2 or 3 smokes. Show some people outside, right? Flash. Have someone get out of hell, so they know that there are some people outside doing something. Because you never want to throw smokes outside and flashes and nobody get out. If nobody gets out, then whoever's peeking back lanes, or he's peeking the crosshair, whoever's shoulder peeking these angles, and if he doesn't see anybody, he's just gonna say, well, I mean, they're not here, so. Whenever you're faking or double faking, that's never something you want to do. You always want to make sure that you're putting pressure alongside your nades. I can always fucking make a video on how to fake properly. You gotta show some presence alongside your nades. So you want to throw one smoke inner, then so like I said, the Z guy is gonna rotate back. Then you got alongside with your smokes, your 1 or 2 guys get out to properly fake. And then by then, this guy is actually gonna be, not only is he gonna push out of Z. So say you've smoked here, then he's definitely gonna push out of Z and get on top of side. Maybe you've mollied him, he's gonna get back. This is smoked out, so maybe he wants to get in CT heaven because that's the next better spot. And like, since he's sure that you're there, because you know his teammates have seen you, have seen actually terrorists pushing, and they've been getting blinded, and like they actually need help. He's so committed to watching outside at that point that when you do take inner with the double fake, with because you realistically only need one smoke take inner. When you do take inner, when you do end up taking inner, whether the inner player is still here or not, sometimes he hold rotate too and take the gamble as well. But better teams are usually always going to leave at least an anchor inner. When you do take inner for real, then you can get that kill and push and like get into these positions without using smokes before the rotators are even there, because they're so far committed into the other side, and that's really when you get superior positioning. So I really talked for a long time about these fucking 5v4s or 4v4s. So yeah, that's basically it. When you're up a guy, make the rotator hesitate, plan strats, that's basically it, and trick kills obviously. So you want to be coordinated, nobody's going by themselves. Even if you're faking, you always want the 2 guys to be holding hands and going together. Okay. Also, when you're up a guy, notice if the CTs are playing aggressive. This doesn't really affect train, because flushing out players on train is quite hard. with mollies, but like on maps like Cache or Inferno, whenever you're up a guy and everybody's playing so passive and like they're giving you so much map control, you can always just with a molly flush out a couple of spots that will allow you, and then get into these spots, and then smoke the choke points. That way, once you're in those good spots, even if people end up being pushing through smokes or something, you'll be the one catching them off guard, not the opposite. So use nades to get yourself into optimal positioning, basically. For that, wow, I've talked for 10 minutes now. Okay, CT side. Oh fuck, the last point I wanted to make on T side. This video is gonna last an hour. God damn it. The last point I wanted to make on T side was knowing when the CT's economy is low. And because whenever the CT's economy is low, that's when there are two mentalities to counter. To shock call when the CT's economy is low. The first one is the passive mentality, which is like what a guy like Dazed, how he would call. So his mentality would be like, let's just play super passive guys, because they don't have many nades. So whenever we execute, they won't actually be able to counter us properly, and that's a fine mentality in itself. I'm much more of an aggressive guy. So when I know that the CTs don't have a lot of utility, I actually want to exploit it in a way where I want to push things right off the bat, especially on a map like Train, where you won't get molly because you don't have the money for a molly. You won't get molly to T-con. You're not going to get nade stacked by 3 people, because they don't have the money for it, right? People on CT side usually are gonna favor smokes and flashes over nades, HE grenades and mollies. So it's usually their first grenade that they're gonna buy is a smoke, and then usually if you know how their economy is, they're only gonna be able to afford a smoke and a flash each, or a smoke and 2 flashes, or a smoke and a nade. That's it. So you know that they're low utility. So the CTs want to be conservative with their utility as much as possible. That's always the mentality of a CT team. But at the same time, they still need to smoke some choke points at the beginning of the round. But you know, with that being said, on a map like Train, smoking T-con isn't enough to stop a full-blown early push. It's not. You need nade stacks, you need mollies to stop that. Only a smoke and a flash is not going to do enough work. So when you know that the CTs are low in economy, that's when you actually want, in my opinion, and obviously, like I explained, the passive mindset, I've got an aggressive mindset. That's when you want to toss a couple of flashes over, smoke this. You can always smoke right here from T-spawn. There are plenty of ways of doing it. God, I haven't done this in a while. That's what she said. Oh my god. What the fuck? You just gotta throw it a little lower. And people that say that, well, we're pro players, we can't use jump bind. Yes, you can. Just use different fucking arrow keys for every. It's pretty easy to time it when you have that. So you can always, like literally, what I would do is I would have the first 3 spawns go T-con. 4th spawn's gonna go ladder. 5th spawn's gonna come here, throw that smoke. Then the first, and then he's gonna throw a flash as well. So he's gonna throw smoke, flash. He's gonna flash over. This guy's gonna come here. You can either molly, sandbag, sandwich, or just go right away. So you can smoke this. You're gonna molly back Ivy. Then you're gonna pop flash hell. Then this guy's roll alongside with these flashes. They're gonna blind people that just rush up here. So that allows you to just get out and make sure nobody's out. What you want to do is the 4th guy. The 3rd guy that's in T-con, his role is going to be to pop 2 flash back halls, maybe once or twice, to allow these guys, to give these guys enough room to clear all these spots, and like peek back halls, while these guys are still occupied by dodging flashes and kind of dealing with the 2 people in T-con. So what these guys want to do is, get out in hell. Then once they're here, they can smoke this. And then wrap around backside, and that's where you want your ladder player. He's gonna pop flash down with that smoke. He's able to get out. You can always, the 4th guy here can always molly the middle of the side from T-con, since he's not really pushing right away. And then that's on fast takes. That's when there's so much aggression going on that your goal is just to trade kills. So always put yourselves in positions where you're all peeking. Nobody's not peeking. There's nobody's holding. Like, you don't want this guy to I don't know. So like this guy's gonna be, you want someone holding the push through smoke, but everybody else, this guy Ladder, his role is not to come here and hold this passively. His goal is to come out and trade the kills with everybody else whilst, you know, looking at the smoke. It is doable, guys. Don't be bitches. You can hop on the train. You know, when your teammates are deep in hell, you can hop on the train. That's when you're gonna be fighting these guys together. So yeah, things like that. So you just want to, basically that's all I wanted to say. Play aggressive when you know that their economy is low. Not every single time, but it's really useful to do it. It's the same thing is really useful to when you know that the CTs don't have much utility. Going inner is very good because although it is retakeable, I mean it favors a retake in my opinion in most cases. The B bomb site, when the CTs don't have utility, it doesn't favor the CTs. It favors you if you play passive. You don't actually have to play aggressive inner when you know that the CTs don't have that much money. Okay. Now onto the CT side. I'm gonna try to do the CT side. I mean, I went over a little bit of the CT setups and how to counter plant strats and stuff like that on my when I went over T side. So T side's gonna be a lot shorter. In my opinion, Train is now a map where you need to have either dedicated players in B or a passive anchor. But to me, I find that Train is not a map. Like, you gotta switch it up. Some rounds you're gonna have dedicated 2 people in B. Some rounds you want a push upper with an op. Some rounds you want to double the aggression lower with 2 rifles. Some rounds you want to have 2 rifles, then an opera up there, to just for early in the round, because you know that they're not gonna push through that smoke. They're not gonna push through the Ivy smoke, so you know that you're safe from that. So you want to be able to juggle all of these setups, these aggressive setups, juggle with these aggressive setups. You also, I'm pretty sure you can tell by now that I'm an aggressive endgame leader, so I like to push on CT side to get early kills. And a lot of, like I said, on T side, some teams are not going to take IV control. They're just going to play from afar. So it's fairly easy for CTs to just ball flash themselves into IV with 2 players, and then or someone's flashing from back there and this guy's pushing, and they're just gonna peek right here. You don't want this guy to peek these angles right here. Just gonna peek up close. All right, nobody's there. So either post up here with an op and have the rifler hug, or have the rifler either with a flash out or a smoke out to help him, to bail him out if he gets blinded, or you have a rifler come up here and then just jiggle peek, and then once he's got the information, he's gonna fall back, or you're gonna have the opera smoke right here for the rifler, and you're just gonna keep this part smoked out. That way the opera can just have free reign on peeking outside this, and your rifler's gonna play behind the smokes right here. And he's gonna keep this re-smoke. He can go on the right side if he wants. So you can do those setups are pretty good in my opinion. It's obviously a great way of wasting the terrorists' time. If they can't take IV control within the first 40 seconds, I mean, it's really hard for them to win the round. I mean, actually, they're left with plant strats and inner takes by then. So, or actually, full executes could work as well. But whenever you have your opper posted on, your opper playing optimal positions, meaning whenever he doesn't have to worry about Ivy and he can just worry about these 2 angles, that's usually when the CTs are in good positions. Right. So the rounds you don't want to play too dedicated inner are the rounds you want to play heavy outside. Like close up outside. So my mentality on outside is I would keep one of the 2 spots smoked, and then the other one I wouldn't smoke it. Then I would have one guy watching the smoke or playing like this right here, and then someone else right here. If he's playing there, that's what I would do. Or this guy can play right here, and then look at ladder and just keep it smoked while his teammate is looking at T-Con. I mean, I'm not sure what height this guy can see over. Can you even see this guy? Can you see this guy? Or you can have this guy played right here. And have so have this guy looking at T-Con, this guy right here looking at ladder. Yeah, right. Like I said, these setups are pretty good. Or you can do the just smoke T-Con instead of smoking ladder. Just keeps T-Con smoked out. And same angle. This guy can still play right here. And this guy's gonna play. Actually, if I were to keep T-Con smoked out, I'd probably play a setup like this. Where this guy's just gonna look for the smoke, and he's gonna be able to trade the kills whenever this guy just starts shooting. He's gonna get out, trade the kills, and since this is still smoked, he still has the advantage when terrorists want to push out. So you want to be able to play these types of setups. At the same time, you want to be able to, so like sometimes say you smoke a ladder up close. You want to have like a T-Con control, like, I don't know, say your Opper's in Z, he's been peeking T-Con, and then you get your two riflers close up T-Con, and you have your Opper pop flash T-Con for you, and your two riflers swing really wide. Everything's cleared, you're going to smoke this out. And it just pushes the terrorist, and it denies so much information from the terrorists that, like, at that point, they're going to have to wait out the every single smoke, and even then, after they've waited out all the smokes, to retake control of those spots is going to take them quite some time and utility. So like maybe 1 or 2 flashes, or a flash and a molly, and like you'll know where they are. You'll know how many people are dedicated to that spot. And mid round, that information is pretty useful as a CT. You can then gamble rotates or pressure the opposite parts of the map properly. So yeah, so I talked about aggressive setups, passive setups. If you wanted to play super passive, then whenever you play passive, you need to have your Opper shouldn't be dedicated to watching a spot, because whenever your Opper is dedicated to watching a spot, he's also dedicated to getting smoked out and being useless. So you want your Opper to be mobile in a passive setup, so he's got basically free reign on whatever he wants to do. So you want to have a rifle anchoring at IV. Passive setups require you to smoke nothing but IV. You want to keep IV smoked out, and then play I don't know, some guy inside, maybe someone CT heaven, someone hell, someone IV, and then the Opper is going to take one of the other positions that I just mentioned right then. And yeah, you're playing retake, so your goal is to when they execute, you want to know how to counter their execute. I'm not going to go over every single execute and how to counter it, but basically if they do a lot of plant strats, then you want your Opper to go heaven to get a kill every single time they do it, and he's gonna fall back. Now you're up a guy against on a retake when the terrorists don't have any more utility, and it really favors you, right? So you just want to make sure that you're adapting to their execution. So you recognize what the smokes do really fast, and you can all adapt. Ask for pop flashes if needed. Against executions, like, I don't know, say your IV player's right here, he knows nobody's IV, but he knows people start to be in hell, doesn't have any flash, or maybe the guy in Z can pop flash hell, and you ask for a flash. Yo, can you flash me in hell? Yeah, sure. And then he gets out, gets the kills right here with the flash. You want to be able to communicate your needs against executions. Because everybody's going to have a way of countering that execution, and it's usually going to be a different way for, like, like on every single team, you're going to have aggressive players and passive players. You want your passive players on to do something for the aggressive, to be the support players for the aggressive players when you're playing against executions, basically. I mean, as I fucking got disconnected from the map, thanks YesYay, I think I just basically talked about everything. The last thing I didn't talk about was dealing with plant strats, right? I just went over how to play, how to get an early pick. Like there are different ways. Are there ways of playing against plant strats? Plant strat usually rely heavily on the lurkers, so you always gotta keep that in mind. So you need to wait out the smokes, but also keep in mind that someone could flank you Ivy, so you want to dedicate someone to watching the flank and winning that 1v1. And for him to win that 1v1, he's got to be in an advantageous position. So you want to make sure that he stays in that position and he doesn't stray away from it. You yourselves, you want to make sure that your flank, so whoever's flanking inner, is timed with everybody else. So he doesn't go too early, he doesn't go too late, or he just doesn't flank at all. It doesn't really matter whether he does it or not. I like flanking ladder because you can pop flash ladder so fucking easily. And then once you got the ladder room control, if you time it properly with like your teammates going out of mid as you're getting down ladder, then you can really trade the kills properly. If you do not flank, then use the whatever utility left you have, and this is when passive setups are really good against, like, aggressive setups are good against plant strat because you get right in their face, and all their smokes are useless against what you're doing. All they can do is flash you out, and if the flashes aren't good enough, then you're gonna win all these fights because you're in really advantageous positions when you play up close and personal. So it's a good way of countering plant strats. But if you are playing passive and you're seeing a plant strat, passive setups are also good against plant strats because you're basically your goal is to maintain some of the advantageous positions held. You want to make sure that nobody's in hell. You want to make sure that nobody actually pushes back of sight, or like what I call no man's land, which is like on the right side of. Actually, I'll get back to the server to show this. Yeah, I'll get back to the server to finish my points. I mean, technically I don't really need the setup, but why not? So you want to make sure that this is what I call no man's land. This entire fucking area. Like backs, like not right here because you can just always fall back, but whenever people are just out in the open, that's no man's land. You want to make sure that the terrorists can't get there, because if they do, like, you want to hold this basically. All the smokes are gonna be in front of it, and like they're gonna be looking to flash push the smoke, whatever. You want to make sure you win all these battles. You put yourselves in positions where you don't get flashed, and you're winning these battles passively. Because if you don't, then I mean that's how a plant strat actually works out. That's when a plant strat works out is when people get kills before after the bombs been planted and before the retake can happen, right? So they won't disrupt your retake. You want to make sure that doesn't actually happen. So you don't want people to be right. I mean, technically you could have people right behind smokes, but you don't want people to be really out in the open behind smokes where if they get blinded they're just fucking fucked. And you don't want people to fight by themselves. So this guy, like, you don't want a guy that's looking to fight here by himself. You want to make sure that you keep everybody alive to retake, and then you have control of your flanks. That's it. That's how you beat plant strats. And you have, since you were all playing so passive, you still have some type of utility to use to flush out some of the spots. So use that utility in your favor, and you're gonna win the retake as long as you're all coordinated and nobody's going by themselves. I know it's a pretty hard requirement for any teams, but if you manage to do it, then you're gonna win these retakes 80% of the time. On train, on A side train, and on B side train. I think this is a map where, I mean, this is technically why the CT side is so favored, is that retaking these sites is really it's pretty easy if the terrorists don't know how to play their post plant. So if the terrorists are not looking to push through smokes, or not looking to flank late, or like if the lurker isn't doing the work he should be doing, that's when your retake's gonna be really good. Okay, I'm done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I think I'm only missing one video, and it's gonna be about Cobble, another one of my pet peeves type of map. A little bit of like overpass. I feel like, actually, I mean, I'll be going over Cobble for my last video before I take my vacation. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So enjoy your evening, everybody, and I hope you found this insightful as always. So yeah, good night.